Hey everyone, welcome to What's Happening in Real Estate this week. I've got Conrad Zerini here, and Brian Hogman is away on his long weekend vacation, and we're going to start talking about what the stats were in July. Conrad, it's crazy. I actually ended the month really good. I didn't know what the beginning of the month is. I think part of it was they had a rate hike at the beginning of the month, beginning of July. People kind of got stunned a little bit and kind of worried and said, screw it, let's just go and let's just buy. And bang. To me, the last 10 days were really good. I was shocked at the numbers that came out. And buddy, you know the numbers. You've got the biggest brokerage in frickin' Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
So,
well, you got the biggest team in Southern Ontario, so and in Canada,
there you
so
go.
you got a pulse of it too.
There you go.
Rob.
There you go. I
Definitely
appreciate
got a pulse of it.
So,
Yeah.
tell me, what's going on in the market?
Well, it's interesting that interest rate piece is kind of. I think most people are looking at this as the end, and can you time the bottom of the market? And the bottom of the market, unfortunately, was probably in some areas it was December, maybe it was January, maybe it was February.
That was the bottom of the barrel, man.
That was the bottom of the trough,
Yeah,
right? The bottom of the trough. So I think people are starting to realize and people are understanding, things are edging up a little bit in terms of price point, in terms of average price or benchmark price or wherever you want to look at. So that's still climbing as long as we have jobs. And again, I heard the jobs numbers are going to come out, I think this week, if not next. It's going to probably, tell the Bank of Canada that, oh my God, the economy is still pretty strong, and we might see another quarter point. So, but I think people are realizing it's the end of the increases. Maybe they'll be slight. They're talking about 2024, mid 2024. There's a thing called CORRA, CORRA, and it's this. It takes in all the data from the Bank of Canada, and it actually predicts where rates are going to be. They have a great record with short-term rates. They were 100% right the last time. They said we're going to see a quarter point. So anyway, this is talking about a 50-50 chance of a rate increase September 6th. So I think you just got to be strategic with how you finance, what kind of term mortgage you take. Don't just go with the robotic 5 years all the time. I think. And I think, and you got to really look at, get an expert like somebody from the Golfi team to help you navigate what neighborhoods are growing, what neighborhoods are they're poised to grow, and things like that. So be strategic in your buys. Absolutely.
So no, and I get that, and I think the buyers are just the new buyers are accustomed to the interest rates, and I feel bad for the buyers that bought 4 or 5 years ago that are getting their renewals right now. Yeah. They're the ones that are going to feel the pain because they're not going to be able to. Some of them may not be able to afford it. Some of them will have to struggle affording it. But the one thing I found in the Niagara area, this is all in Niagara. Conrad, the numbers, they're going, they're bouncing like a ping pong up and down. Yeah. Am I reading that right, or is that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But you know what's interesting is I love and I know you do too. Our appointment report.
Yeah.
What's funny is you go back 3 weeks ago. The first time I've ever seen it across the board, the most showings were in that $1 million to $2 million for Halton, Hamilton, and Niagara. We hadn't seen that.
Wow.
So we saw a little bit of an uptick of that upper end pulling prices. So you see, Niagara is a funny little thing. It's really pulled by, it's like a pull up in terms of when you're getting a higher price, or it's a pull down. And then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, we're seeing that moderate pricing showing up in appointments at 590, the 5 to 600.
Yeah.
Look, Niagara is,
do you think
if you're looking for affordability, that's where you're going to go.
Do you think they probably kind of hit the ceiling almost, and that's why it's just floating up and down 2-3%, 1%, 2% down, 1% up, it just floating? Do you think it Niagara, the market is just saying, hey, this is kind of the max that it'll afford? Do you think because it's been bouncing around for the last 4 months, and
I just think that I just think that you're seeing more high end. So think about it. If the average price there is, let's say it's 500,000,
right,
and you sell a $2 million house,
it messes things
right?
up.
it screws it all up, right? You
Yeah.
got to remember that's good. That's like selling 4 houses at 500,000,
Right.
right? So it's really going to pull the
The number
it's going to
up.
pull the price the number up, and that's what I think it is. I just think that we're seeing like this rush to, let's say, Niagara on the Lake or St. David's or something like that, a little bit more higher end. Again, and the high end was done early, and then now that upper end market, like I'm going to take the August off and stuff like that, but affordability is where it's at. Like about 3 weeks ago, Fort Erie kept showing up in the top three, in the top three, in the top three, and there was 4 properties from Fort Erie that hit our top 10. That means that's going to tell you that people are looking for affordability.
Oh yeah.
There's just totally affordability, and they'll go further away to get that more affordable single detached home.
Well, what was really affordable was in December of last year in Burlington, the benchmark price was 850, and in January it hit 760,000. Oh, another call, another sale.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
760. So January, Burlington hit bottom at this is benchmark price, median price, 760,000 in January. Right now in July, median price in Burlington, 1.1 million. That's a huge jump. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong in Burlington owning real estate. If you can afford it, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I've been bullish on Burlington. There was a time you have to understand downtown Burlington. The rest of Burlington throughout this year was one month supply. Like we saw it like February, March, April. But downtown was like 2 months supply. Now we're seeing that kind of shrink too. Look, the minute everybody figured out, you know what, this struggle between employers and employees of going back to Toronto and all that kind of stuff, you have to understand that I was just at a and you got to come with me next time, Rob. It was a commercial. It's an hour and a half, and they go through all commercial and what's going on, but they talk about the economy, a deep dive in the economy. And they were saying that Toronto's down about 45-50% in the foot traffic during the week.
Wow.
Right? And it's shifted to the outskirts now. So the interesting thing is you used to go get your dry cleaning done downtown Toronto. You live downtown. Now you're going to Oakville or Burlington or whatever. So the minute this tug of war about working in Toronto happened, places like Burlington are going to thrive because it's still affordable. Okay, it's way better than Oakville, right? It's not that far. You're on the other side of the bridge. So this is the area where people are focusing on, that they're going to cash in what they have in Toronto and go to Burlington and they can land here and they'll be fine.
It's got all the amenities there in Burlington. So the other thing is going on is there was an article in the paper talking about a lot of people moving to Calgary and Edmonton. And and I get it, and it's been going on, but I think because of the affordability, but those people, in my opinion, I'd say more than half will be coming back because that economy, especially in Calgary with this oil, I mean, like it's something you got to be careful. Like you go out there now, you're going to pay high dollars, but if they whatever elections happen in the U.S., that's what dictates sometimes. Oh yeah, is the pipeline going to go through? It is not going to go through. I mean, didn't Calgary just come out of a recession about 2 years ago or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it really, they took a beating, especially the high end everywhere, upper end, everything took kind of a beating. And we're seeing investors now, that Toronto investor that bought pre-con in Toronto, Mississauga is now going to Calgary and stuff like that. Yeah, there is, Calgary's, kind of, look, the other thing too is they have a lot of industrial land and they've been really very much, Calgary's become a big hub for a warehousing hub. And so, and a big distribution hub for all of Western Canada and probably into some, even some distribution into the U.S. as well, to the western northwest side of the U.S. So that's what's happened. They've got a lot of industrial land. You got to remember here in Canada, right? It's in the U.S. If you have Amazon Prime, it's really an hour. Like you want the next hour. Our hour is the next day because we're so spread out that we're never going to see that kind of service level they have in the U.S. So we're going to need these warehouses. And industrial right now as a sector It's probably the number one performing sector when it comes to commercial real estate right now.
Right.
Number one in Canada.
Yeah, and they're experiencing a lot of multiple offers, people, all that kind of stuff. And I get it. We've moved a lot of people that moved to the West Coast, like Calgary and Edmonton, and so you get these Gen X's and millennials that are moving out there. Guess who's following them? The parents.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of them. I mean, if they don't have other kids, or let's say two of the kids, I had one family, they had kids in Vancouver and Calgary. So they're saying, hey, let's move to Calgary so we're not that far away. You know, hop on a flight from Calgary to Vancouver, no problem. And so we're seeing that kind of trickle effect. But I always say those people, everybody that's born in Ontario kind of sticks around, and they're usually working within an hour to an hour and a half from where they were born pretty well. Like, I mean, we're a major population here, right in the Golden Horseshoe. And for them to, Canadians don't kind of leave their area as much as Americans do. Right. They kind of stay, but we're seeing a major change of everybody moving around. But I feel that Calgary and Edmonton, if they're getting a boom, those people are going to come back. But the biggest problem those people are going to have is when they sell in Calgary, come back to Ontario, they're not going to be able to afford. They're going to go, whoa, this is not good. And they may have to rent or whatever, but it just people, they got to be careful when they move out of the province, because coming back is going to be difficult.
But the desire for home ownership and being on the ground, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff is so darn strong. Just wait when they're shoveling snow on Thanksgiving. When they start shoveling snow at Canadian Thanksgiving, then they're going to say, "What the hell did I do?"
I know. I mean, here in Ontario, it's bad enough. It's bad enough. No kidding.
This place is freezing. But you know what? It's amazing that how far people will go to for affordability, and some jobs are just transplantable. But you're right, there is that exodus. But Canada's been famous for that. Like, you know, when the West starts to see the economy going back and forth. But we got a strong economy here, but the problem is affordability has been compromised.
It has been, and it's going to be like that for a while. And isn't it funny, though, how that correction last year, that real estate correction happened, and now it's just back on track? Like, did we? Was that, like, do you think? I don't think we'll see anything like that for another couple years, maybe 4 years from now. Just like, you know, like, I mean, like, it's just going to keep climbing. I think so. I don't know. Like, are people's wages going to keep going up, or do you have to have two families living in a house now, like that, buying a house together? It's hard to tell. But
I think you got to be more creative. I think, and I think, you know what, the good news about some of the laws when it comes to Uber, right? Not Uber, rather, Airbnb, rather, that people are talking about doing, Uberizing their house. So when they go away on vacation, and also just having a separate room to rent out as well. So people are really thinking in those terms, and I think that's going to help a lot with people being able to afford homes and things, right?
We got a couple of minutes. Tell me if I read this right. In the UK or England, renters just surpassed homeowners with mortgages.
Yes.
Is that I didn't get a chance to read the article. Isn't that crazy? And it's because I mean, England's always been very expensive for real estate. Like, even like,
well, the central London. Yes, absolutely.
So, and that is that. I mean, I don't know what the stats are in other countries, but that seems a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, it depends where you go. Well, like Germany at 60-40. The other
60% renters in Germany?
No, 60% owner, 40% renter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like Spain's higher, Italy is higher, like higher ownership, believe it or not. Well, the other thing too is that the UK has the highest interest rates they've ever had in 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So some really dramatic things happening. They everything went wrong with the UK. From Brexit to this to that, they just had everything go wrong with it, right?
No kidding.
Nothing can help them, right? Couple prime ministers, short-lived prime ministers, and scandal. It's been a tough time for them.
No kidding.
So yeah.
Anyway, Conrad, thanks a lot. And if you guys want to hear more, like and share, and you'll see more of what's happening in real estate this week with Conrad Zerini, Brian Hogbin with Mission 35, and myself. Everybody, have a great day.
Thanks, Rob.